What's up, y'all? Uh, Today, I think is a great opportunity to talk about the power of open-mindedness and why I'm so thankful that my parents put me in so many different sports and activities when I was a kid, and similarly, why my children would be doing the same thing. Now, to start, I know I always bring this anecdote up when I'm on these videos, but I'm gonna say that I played hockey my whole life, pretty much. I just quit it very recently, but when I was about 14 or 15, I decided to maybe start trying to play basketball for the first time. It was COVID, all the sports were shut down. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go play pickup basketball then. And I ended up not really enjoying it too much the first time because I realized now that I was trying to play it as an ice hockey player and not from the mind of a basketball player, right? In ice hockey, I was taught that when you play defense, you got to be super aggressive and you have to cut off as much space as possible right away and go for the steals right away. Just keep attacking the puck. And so when I went to basketball, I was like, all right, you know what? It's a similar sport where you try to shoot something into a net. So I'm going to do the same thing on defense, right? And so when I'd play defense, I'd be hyper physical and always trying to swat at the ball. And I remember my friends would just blow back this way or blow this way or maybe like do a crossover or something, and I would just be gone because I was so used to just constant attack. I wouldn't be patient to see what they were doing, right? And similarly, when I had the ball on offense, I was always trying to rush, because in ice hockey, I learned that if you have the puck and you're standing still, you're just gonna get hit and you're gonna, probably be injured. And so when I get the ball after rebound or off a pass, my first instinct was to, start dribbling into open space. And that's not always the right play, is what I've realized since I picked up basketball since I was like 18. I realized that basketball is more of a patient game than ice hockey. Because when you have the ball, you can choose to do other things because it's so much more dangerous to attack on defense than it is in ice hockey. And similarly, after you dribble and pick up the ball, you can't move anymore. But ice hockey, that's not the case. So what I was doing was I was kind of playing basketball closed-minded, and I was trying to play basketball through previous beliefs that I had, and that obviously wasn't working. And so this time, the second time I picked up basketball, I played it from an actual basketball perspective. I would get rebounds and hold them for like 2 seconds, slow the play down, let our offense come up, and then come up additionally. Or I would maybe throw some pump fakes or catch the ball and just dribble slowly, wait for cuts or something. And I would never do that before. And I think this is why it's so important to diversify your experiences as a kid and just in general diversify your experiences because I played ice hockey my whole life and I was put in a different sport where I had to adapt to a different play style and I couldn't do it because I was so rooted in playing like an ice hockey player, playing super aggressive and physical that it was hindering a different, a different route. And I think just in general, trying different experiences and having to have an open mind to doing it in a different manner, it really helps you grow and it really helps you minimize your failures. Now, the basketball is obviously just one example out of probably millions, but I feel like I'm so much better of a player because I'm now trying to play basketball, being present in the fact that I'm playing basketball instead of being rooted in this worked in ice hockey, so I need to do it in basketball, right? Just in general, when you go to college, things that you did in high school are not going to work. And it's very similar in this case. You're so grounded and rooted in what you've done your whole life that when you're thrown into a new situation, you're probably going to slip and fail a few times. That's just what comes with it. You got to charge it to the game, just like I did when I get blown by playing basketball or when I fall for a crossover, tween, stuff like that. And you kind of learn that, okay, my previous, mindset didn't work. So I need to be open to trying a new strategy or open to trying a new experience. So I think this is exactly why my kids are going to probably be playing a multitude of sports. They're gonna, try instruments, try robotics teams, just so many different experiences outside of just school, because I think school teaches you how to think one way, and then maybe you try sport, it teaches you to think a different way, music a different way, something else academic. All these things teach you to think a different way. And not only are you going to learn how to have an open mind and learn how to adapt to that, but also you can carry that skill into your job, carry that skill into, college, carry that into retirement, whatever you want to say. Now, for example, just having to adapt between hockey, basketball, and even different positions in hockey. Like I used to play center for a year, and I played defense for a lot of the time. And then, I get into like fishing, rock climbing, soccer, stuff like that. I have to adapt to so many different play styles. And so when I came into my job this summer, it's in computer networking and IT, information technology, right? I've studied computer science at UMich for 2 years, but now that I'm coming in as an IT professional or as a network engineer, now I have to have an open mind to thinking like one instead of just thinking like computer science major. Now, obviously, some parts of ice hockey helped me in basketball, such as, being able to play physical even though I'm smaller, and, just the team communication aspect, making the right reads on passes, and cutting when I'm supposed to, similarly to how, when I go into my current job, things I've learned in CS have also helped. Sometimes there are coding tasks that I have to do, but a lot of the problem solving skills that I use in my job are also applicable from my CS. So there is an extent where you can use your prior knowledge in your current, predicament. But by staying rooted in these things, instead of saying, okay, how can I use this to grow in my certain place, it keeps you super shallow, and you're gonna take your whole life not really getting any wiser, and you're gonna take your whole life not really being able to adapt very well to certain situations because you're not looking at it as an opportunity to be a new person. You're trying to stay your old person and do better, and that doesn't work, right? So I'm going to have my kids do so many different things because I now see the impact that has had on me when I did so many different things. And I want my kids to be able to do that because, oftentimes they may have struggles, and I'm going to have struggles too as a parent. We have to adapt to maybe my kid going to college. I'm going to have to adapt to my kid looking for a job. I'm going to have to adapt to my kid going through puberty, stuff like that, right? Or like maybe getting his license. And so I'm going to try to look at it from a perspective of, okay, I'm at that age now, my son is at that age now, or my daughter, where we now have to adapt to a different perspective. We have to adapt to how you are changing as becoming an adult. And so I can't stay grounded in my 20-year-old self and just, after work, just go play sports and fool around for the rest of the night, right? I'm gonna have to take responsibilities of, I need to teach you how to drive. I need to, teach you how to do X, Y, Z. Feel like there's so many different aspects of being a parent that I think I can excel in now because I've spent my whole life doing things where I had to adapt to different situations. And then at the same time, I'm going to pass that on to my son, and he'll probably learn the same thing and keep going down. And I think that's how you build strong children, is letting them have, the opportunities to have to adapt and take what they've learned in the past and become something new by combining these two together. Like I do in my job, like I did in basketball, like I've done in ice hockey. There's so many different aspects where you pull together things you've done from your past and you use it to help propel yourself, but also being open to learning from a new perspective, right? I think I'm going to end this one here. I think this is a great topic. And those of you guys who have helped me, taught me things in basketball, taught me things in ice hockey, taught me things how to, code, how to do good in school, stuff like that. Appreciate you a lot because without you guys, I don't think I'd be able to make this video and be able to be so proud of the things that I've done in my life. Aside from that, though, I hope to talk to you guys in another video. I'll see you guys later.